What is going on, everyone? In this video, we're settling the debate once and for all with a head-to-head matchup between the River to Sea Whopper Plopper and the Berkley Choppo. We'll be comparing as many categories as possible to determine which bait truly is the superior plopper.
Okay then, now we're finally ready for a clean, hard fight. Gentlemen, let's get it on!
Our first category to dive into is lineup diversity.
Oh, how sick was that?
The Whopper Plopper offers a total of 6 different sizes, while the Choppo comes in just 4 different sizes. The 4 sizes of the Choppo are either identical or very comparable to the Whopper Plopper's range. However, the 2 sizes the Choppo doesn't offer are the Micro 60 and the Giant 190. Because of its range, the Whopper Plopper lineup offers you the best options to target all of your favorite species, from panfish to muskie.
A river muskie right there.
In addition to the sizes offered, both plopper lineups also feature an internal rattle. These rattles add even more noise to the already obnoxious lure. While surface disturbance is the name of the game, this extra rattling can sometimes be too much in certain situations. To address this, the Whopper Plopper offers a silent version, which removes the rattle entirely. Without the rattle, there's no internal sound, providing a more subtle presentation. This is ideal for calm waters where the propeller also generates enough surface disturbance to attract fish.
That was a fun little hit right there. I fired up Smalley.
I do think it's worth mentioning that while both offer internal rattles, the sounds of these rattles are very different between the two companies and can also fluctuate from size to size. For instance, the Whopper Plopper 130s offers a maraca type sound, while the 110 offers a knocking sound. The same can also be said about the Choppo, as the 120 offers a hard knocking sound, while the 105 is less distinct. Because of the individual nature of these sounds, I think it makes all of them equally important and unique. Next, let's talk about colors and patterns. Both the Whopper Plopper and Choppo come in a wide range of finishes, including solid colors, chromes, and translucent bodies, perfect for both freshwater and saltwater fishing. Naturally, both brands offer the staple colors that most anglers rely on, including some all-time favorites that have proven their worth over the years. That being said, when it comes to variety and unique color options, the Whopper Plopper easily takes the win. It boasts over 40 different color choices, while the Choppo offers around 25. If you're looking for a specific or more unique pattern, the Whopper Plopper gives you a lot more to choose from. While River to Sea does offer some impressive paint schemes, I find that most of their colors are basic and even cartoonish. As for Berkley, the Choppo stands out with superior detail and realism, especially in their HD color options. For me, it really seems like River to Sea focuses less on lifelike finishes, whereas Berkley invests a lot more in the finer details. Next up, let's take a look at the overall hardware on these two baits. At first glance, the Whopper Plopper and Choppo look nearly identical, but when you take a closer look, you'll notice subtle differences that gives one an edge over the other. For example, both baits come with in-house hooks. The Whopper Plopper comes equipped with River to Sea's treble hooks. These hooks used on the Whopper Plopper are beefy, incredibly strong, and razor sharp straight out of the package and ready to handle big fish without any upgrades. As for the Choppo, Berkley equips their plopper with their Fusion 19 treble hooks. These hooks are sharp and strong as well, but they're not quite as heavy duty or durable as the Whopper Plopper's hooks. Now, Berkley does offer upgraded hooks for the Choppo's saltwater lineup, equipping them with sharp 3X anti-rust Fusion 19 hooks. However, even with these upgrades, they still don't quite match the sheer strength and durability of the Whopper Plopper standard 4X treble hooks. Overall, both hooks are solid choices, but the River to Sea hooks are simply higher quality.
Oh, that was a smack as a pike right there.
One of the biggest reasons these baits are so successful is because of their propellers.
It's a muskie.
While they both create serious topwater commotion, they're actually quite different from each other, and each one comes with its own set of pros and cons.
Muskie. It's a muskie.
First, the Whopper Plopper features a rubberized propeller, while the Choppo uses a hard plastic propeller. This difference might be the biggest separation point between these two baits. In fact, Berkley actually highlights this difference as a selling point when promoting the Choppo, suggesting that their hard plastic prop avoids flexing and claiming that theirs will not melt in your tackle box. Unlike the Whopper Plopper's rubberized tail, the Choppo's hard plastic prop won't deform over time, ensuring a very consistent sound and action.
Right there at the boat.
Now, on the other hand, the Whopper Plopper's pliability should be seen as a major strength because it is incredibly durable and nearly indestructible. In most cases, the tail will flex back into shape after violent hook sets or collisions with rocks, stumps, docks, and walls. Now over time, the prop can slightly lose its original shape, which may alter its pitch and sound. As for the Choppo, while I have never personally had a Choppo propeller break on me, I have had a number of other hard plastic props break from hitting rocks and other such things. While I trust Berkley to make a durable propeller, I do think you will have a much higher risk of breaking the propeller of the Choppo. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there are pros and cons to each style, and while the Whopper Plopper's flexible tail is a strength, I do think it comes with a downside. Because the prop is pliable, hooks tend to get caught up in the prop more often compared to the Choppo, which means the Whopper Plopper has a greater chance of getting foul hooked and ruining spots and causing you to potentially miss out on fish. The next area of focus is the shape of the propeller. If you look closely at the prop of the Whopper Plopper, you will see that it has a very standard cup shape. Like the Whopper Plopper, the Choppo also has a cup shape, but it is larger and more drastically defined. Because of this, the Choppo tail will have enhanced surface area, which will create more splash and sound on each turn due to the deeper cut propeller. Here is a comparison of the four main sizes. The Choppo 120, 105, and 90 are larger than the Whopper Ploppers, but the Choppo 75 is a little smaller in size, and that's because the Whopper Plopper 75 uses the same size tail as their 110. Now the question is, does the larger and more cupped propeller actually lead to more spray and louder sound? In the next several clips, we're going to compare the noise and water disturbance created from each size of the Whopper Plopper and Choppo. Here's the 130 versus the 120. Here is the 110 versus the 105. Here are the 90s. Here are the 75s. Although very similar, the propellers are not the same. In my opinion, the Choppo has an all-around deeper and more distinct plopping sound, and it really does live up to its name, as it truly chops through the water, putting off that hard, loud, and deep sound. On the other hand, although the Whopper Plopper is still relatively loud, its plops are less thunderous compared to the Choppo. The smaller cup propeller offers softer plops and a diverse buzz-sawing action that can make all the difference in clear and calm water, or when fish are just shy and overwhelmed by too much commotion. Sometimes less is more, and in those circumstances the Whopper Plopper has the upper hand.
Right where that fish should have been.
Now, of course there are a lot of variables to consider here. For instance, how fast you're retrieving, the line test you're using, are you using braid or mono, how are you holding the rod tip, is it up, down, etc. All of these things have an impact on how you're hearing these two baits. Even if you could use audio equipment to prove that the Choppo is objectively louder and also show that it sprays more water, that doesn't guarantee that the fish will want that particular sound or surface disturbance. Perhaps contextual situations are most important here when determining which propeller sound is in fact better. In my opinion, I think this one is best determined by the fish. As we move on from the propellers, let's take a look at an often overlooked category, their castability. When using this lure to cover water or locate fish, you need to be able to precisely cast your plopper. If you can't make good casts, then you might miss out on some good fish.
There's one. That is a nice one.
With that said, both ploppers are a compact bait, and both have weight added on the back of the bait so that the tail will always lead while in the air. This means that both ploppers face minimal resistance in the air, and they'll both land in the water in a correct position so that you can begin retrieving immediately. Because they're both counterweighted, you're not going to have those casts that knuckleball on you or wobble through the air like other ploppers on the market.
That was almost instant.
In general, the Whopper ploppers are heavier, which will allow for further bomb casting, and it'll also make for a more disruptive sound when entering the water.
That was a good hit.
In contrast, because of the Choppo's lighter weight, this should allow the bait to reach the surface faster than the Whopper plopper. In other words, the heavier the bait, the more it'll sink on initial impact, and thus the lighter Choppo will rise to the surface faster, allowing you to start retrieving more immediately and retrigger those insane reaction strikes.
Yep, there's one. Another smallmouth.
The last category is affordability. The question many of us ask when purchasing a lure is, how much does it cost? Let's look at some of the largest outdoor and fishing retail stores so we can see what these ploppers are going for in 2025. Based off of these 4 major websites, the Whopper Plopper 130 is sold for around $16.99, while the Choppo 120 is sold for around $12.99. Now, there is still more context needed in regards to pricing because the Whopper Plopper prices do depend on their size. The prices generally range from $9.99 to $16.99. As for the Choppo, they have a consistent price point of $12.99 across the board. In other words, you'll pay the same price for the largest size Choppo as for the smallest size Choppo. Essentially, you will pay the same amount for less materials and less product as you would for more materials and more product. On the other hand, it seems that the Whopper Plopper's price point is adjusted based on materials, since the price goes up as the size gets larger. In the end, the Choppos are a fraction of the cost and really smoke the Whopper Ploppers when it comes to price point. Overall, both of these baits are top notch and really do catch some giant fish. I have both ploppers in my tackle box at all times and have used them religiously for years. If you're a topwater junkie like me, then I am convinced that you should have both ploppers ready for different situations you might face on the water because they really are different. But with that said, I still think that only one is the overall head-to-head winner. For me, the River to Sea Whopper Plopper is the most diverse, it provides the best hardware, and it is proven to be extremely durable. Again, there are just too many advantages with the Whopper Plopper, including things I didn't even get to cover in this video, like the cupped out bodies which prevents grass and junk from inhibiting the propeller. I also didn't get to talk about the Whopper Plopper adding split rings on the certain sizes, and honestly, the list goes on for why the Whopper Plopper is simply the best on the market.
Pounced on that Whopper Plopper as soon as it hit.
I do get why some of y'all are crazy about the Choppo. Its price point, its action, and its ability to catch fish is second to none. That is, except for the Whopper Plopper. That's it for this video. Let me know in the comments which plopper you think is best and why. See you guys in the next one.